Hello everyone, KingGodwise here. This is lesson number 42. It's called Define Your Terms, or Define Life Terms. Most people don't know what they're talking about, and I think everyone would agree with that. But most people don't even know what the words they're using mean. They've never actually defined the terms that they're using. And when two people talk, they don't have the same words to agree. It could be anything. The word freedom. If you were thrown in jail, you'd say you weren't free. But if you were on a deserted island and you couldn't leave the island, a lot of people would consider that free. You need to think about the deep meaning of your terms. There's always, the great Nietzsche had this understood. He said, you do not have any right to isolated thoughts. They have to be one tree, one branch, one root. You can't have fragmented things. And people seem to have conflicting ideas. They don't have their terms defined. I was talking to someone about cruelty the other day, and they were talking about how cruel someone was. And I said, how are they cruel? And basically it ended up that the person was completely indifferent to their suffering, their situation. And I said, that's not what I would call cruelty. I define cruelty as you enjoy another's pain. You enjoy inflicting pain on another person. That's cruel. But if you don't care, you'll not lift a finger to help another person, but you don't really get any pleasure out of it. You wouldn't lift a finger to hurt another person. Are you cruel? And that the guy I was talking with kind of said, well, I don't know. And even though it may seem trivial, it's not. Define every term in your vocabulary, every important word completely. Don't have these words you use that have this nebulous meaning, the thing. I talked to someone, they were talking about, well, he's racist. And I said, why? And it was because they didn't believe in affirmative action, that there shouldn't be extra privileges given to one race over another, that all races should be treated the same in college entrance exams. And I said, how's that racist? That's the opposite. And the person kind of went, well, there needs to be, and extra things given here and there. And I said, well, so define that term. If that's what it means to you, then make sure you understand what you're using. Because if you talk to someone else, they may not. And there's 2 points. It's not that you need to define your terms and make sure they match someone else's terms so that you can communicate to that person accurately, which is true. But you also need to, before you get to that step, just clean your own house up first. Pull that log out of your own eye. You need to define your terms so you actually know what you're talking about and thinking. You need to know what you're personally thinking in your head and have it clarified before you try to go talk to anyone else. This idea that define the words you use, cruelty, fairness, laziness, loyalty, honor, truth. What do you exactly mean by those words? It would be a good exercise for you to ponder, what does that mean? What does loyalty really mean? What does a person have to do to be loyal? What do they have to do to be proven disloyal? What does loyalty entail? What does honesty entail? What does that mean to you? Today, and I don't ever want to be political in these lessons, because there's no real benefit, and it won't turn more people off. But a lot of the politics now going on, and the arguments of left and right, and Democrat and Republican, and liberal and conservative, people, not only do people not mean the same thing, they'll say classic liberal or this, but they don't. They haven't even thought it through themselves internally to what they mean, much less matched it up to another person. This is what I mean by that. To talk to someone intelligently, productively, you need to know what your words mean. Most people haven't done that. And then after that's done, you have to figure out that what you mean when you say liberal is the same thing that someone else means when they say liberal, or whatever it happens to be. Okay? So define your terms, define the words you use, and make sure you know what the words you use, what they at least mean to you. And I'm not even getting to the point where people should all, in the same community, should have words that apply to each other, because many times they don't. And that's a real fragmentation that we have as a problem. But that's a separate problem, that if you're fragmented yourself and you don't even know what your words mean. So it would be a good exercise. I would challenge anyone to do this. I would suggest you do it. Take all the big important words that you have to describe yourself or someone else, and write down really what they define them. What is that? What do they all mean? What does that mean to you? Like the guy with cruelty. I thought he had the complete wrong definition of cruelty. I used the example with him. I said, so is the ocean cruel? Because it'll drown you immediately if you do something wrong. Is the ocean cruel? It's an inanimate object. And so the person kind of had to think about it. And we do that. We call people sociopaths and psychopaths, and we mix definitions and all the time. So that's something you want to think about. So anyway, hope this helps somebody. It's kind of an important thing. Define the words you use in your life and in your head, and that will help make your thinking much clearer. Talk to you later. Bye.